So hello everyone, welcome back. In the previous video we have learned about how to print output in C, where we discussed about printing text as output and also print the value of variable as output, and also at the end we discussed about escape sequences where we print output in a given pattern or in a given format. Okay, so in this video exclusively we are going to learn how to take input from the user in C. What is an input? Input is such a kind of value which the program accepts from the user, and based on that input the program functions accordingly. It may be working like that on bay 1 in bay 2, but it will depend on the user who is using it, his input. Okay, so let's see how do we take input from the user. So for taking input, the same header file, that is stdio.h, is taken. This is the same header file for input and output, right? While printing output also the same header file stdio.h was taken into consideration, right? So how do you include this stdio.h? We already know how to include this in our program. So we write the statement, that is hash include, and then we write stdio.h. So what will this statement do? This statement will include the stdio.h header file, which allows us to print also and allows us to take input also for in this case. So if you want to write here, so it is a header file, okay, contains predefined code for taking input and printing output. Okay, so why I am calling it as predefined? Because the program to take input or to program to print the output, we are not defining it on our own. It is predefined by the developers of C language, right? So how do we take input? Coming back to the point, to take input, the same header file, that is stdio.h, has to be included before the main, and we use the function scanf to take input from the user. In case of printing, we took the help of the function printf, right? But in case of input, to take input from the user, we use the function scanf, and remember that we have to include this stdio.h header file. So how do we include that? With hash include stdio.h. So let's see how do we include. Now how to implement this in our code, we will see the syntax of this scanf function. Let's see. See here, in front of me I have the scanf syntax. So what is the syntax? Let's see. So in the scanf we use the keyword scanf, then the brackets are opening, then in quotes we specify the format specifier of the variable whose value we are taking as input from the user. What is format specifier? We have already discussed in the output part, that is to take output or to print output or to take input from the user. We have to tell the compiler the kind of value we are printing and also the kind of value, that is whether it is an integer type or it is a character type. We have to tell the compiler that we are printing character, so there has to be a specific format specifier. And in case of input also, we have to tell the compiler the type of variable or the type of data we are going to accept from the user. So accordingly we use format specifiers. Okay, so scanf, the bracket opens, in quotes we have to mention the format specifier. After that we have to give a comma and then ampersand and then the variable name whose value we are accepting as input, right? And what is this called? This is called the ampersand. Okay, so what does this thing do? This thing allocates passes the address of the variable. For the time being, I know you will not understand what does this ampersand means, but at the end of the course or the end of this lecture, we will learn about a chapter called call by reference. Okay, where we will see what is the function of this ampersand. Okay, so let's come back to the topic. So we take input in the following way. We use the scanf. In the bracket, after the bracket there is quotes opening, and in the quotes opening we mention the format specifier of the type of variable we are taking as input, and then we write a comma after the quotes is closing and ampersand variable name, and after that the bracket close and then the semicolon again. So in this way we are print or accepting input from the user. Now let's see the format specifier a bit. See, we have already discussed it in the printing part. See the data type, when the data type is int or the integer data we are accepting from the user, we use %d. For real number or double float, okay, we use %f and %lf for double. And if we are accepting a character from the user, we use %c. And for long integers, that is 16 digit number, we use %li. So how will the statement looks like? For example, if I want to take input of a character, we will write scanf and here %c, which is the format specifier for character. After that a comma, then %a. What is a? A is the name of the variable name. Okay, so what will this do? If this is my output screen, the compiler will ask for the value of a character. Clear as that? So to take integer as input, we use format specifier %d. For real number, we use %f. For double, we use %lf. For character, we use %c. And for long integer, we use %li. Now let's see an example where we will see how program is coded. See, for taking input of an integer, here in the code over here, it is explained how to take input of an integer from the user. Let's start our output screen over here. Okay, see, the first line is #include stdio.h, which is the header file inclusion for using this scanf. Okay, so after that we are writing int when, and then our braces is opening, right? So after that we are declaring the int a as the variable to store the integer which the user is giving. We have to store the integer, right? Store the value that the user is giving in a variables, right? So we are declaring a as that variable to store the value, and we use the keyword that is scanf %d because it is of integer data type. The a is of integer data type, so we are using %d, then comma %a, which is the variable name. After that, return 0 is ending the program. Okay, so what will the compiler do? The compiler will display the output screen and it will show a cursor is blinking, and there we have to input a number, suppose 1 2 3, right? And when we press enter, the program terminates. Because there is no printf line, the program will not print it again. Okay, so this was how to take input of an integer. Now let's see in our program view. See, here we have programs. Now we will see how to implement printf and input together. Okay, but remember one thing, it is not true that if you are using printf, you have to import stdio.h once, and if you are using the scanf, you have to import the stdio.h again. Only one stdio.h inclusion is sufficient or enough for taking input also and for printing output also. Okay, now let's see in our code how these things are working. Okay, so the first practice problem says accept two integers and print their sum. It is a very simple. Let's go to our VS Code terminal and see how it's working. So let's see our VS Code terminal. Here I have some predefined codes. Let's erase this. Yeah, so this is our VS Code terminal. I hope it's visible. Yeah, so the first program said that accept two integers and print their sum. It is very easy. So let's move to VS Code again. Yeah, so I will write the prerequisites, which is the int main, stdio.h and others. Just a minute. So I will include the prerequisites, which is stdio.h and int main. After that, I will declare two variable of integer data type. Let it be int a, comma b, right? And also the sum to store the value. Okay. Now what is the formula for adding two numbers? It is sum equal to a plus b, right? We will hold the sum of a and b in a variable called sum, and simple we will accept print the sum. Okay, sum of a and b is %d. Okay, and we will print the sum variable, which is sum. Okay, now here see here we have not taken the input of the a and b, right? So to take input, what we have to do now? So let's see. Just a minute. And yeah, so to take input, we use the keyword which is called the scanf, right? So we will write scanf. So before writing scanf, we have to tell the user to give the value of a. So we will write printf here a, give value of a, let's write here give value of a question mark and here semicolon, and after that we have to write scanf and %d, which is a format specifier for int, comma ampersand a. Why a? Because we are accepting the value of a first. Okay, after that we have to also accept the value of b from the user. So let's see how do we accept the value of b from the user. So to do this we will write printf, again here give value of b, right? Now let's move on to the next scanf statement, that is scanf here %d, comma ampersand b. So this will accept the value of a and b from the user, right? So let's see how it is working in our terminal, the answer part. Let's run this code. I hope it's correct. Yeah, let's run this code. Okay, let's enlarge this. See, it is asking us give value of a. Let's give value of a simple number 4 and give value of b, let's give it 10. So sum of a and b is 14. See, it's very easy. Let's explain the code once again. Let's get back to the code. Yeah, I hope the code is visible now. Correct? Yeah. So see here, the program starts with hash include stdio.h, which is the header file inclusion both for input and output, the same header file. Okay, we have to include it only once, right? So for input also and output also we are taking the same header file. Okay, now in the second line we have printf give value of a, where we are printing a statement so that the user can understand whose value the user is supposed to give. Okay, yeah, so the user can understand whose value the user is supposed to give. So after that we have scanf, which is accepting the input of a from the user. After that we have printf, which is this is telling the user to give the value of b. After that b's value is accepted, and then in the sum equal to a plus b we are adding the two things and we are printing the sum of a and b in the last printf statement is this. So if we give some big values like, yeah, let's run this code. We will give now big values. So let's give it to 8,000 and another one is 17,000. See, the sum is 25,000. So in this way we add two numbers in C. We are taking two numbers and we are adding them. So let's see in our next program what we have. Oh, it's not, yeah. So this is our next program. So the next program says that accept a character and print its value. So we will now see how to accept a character as input from the user and to print it. So let's get back to VS Code. So we are back in VS Code. So let's erase everything. Okay, yeah. So here we are going to erase this. So we will declare a variable which will store the character. So it will be char a, and we have to accept, or before accepting we have to print a line that give value of a as input, question mark, here the semicolon, and then after that we have to write scanf %c, because it is the format specifier for character, right, and comma ampersand a, then semicolon. After that we will print the character which is taken as input, the output of character is %c again. Okay, now we will print the character which is stored in a. Okay, remember in printf statement we don't use ampersand a. In scanf we use ampersand a because we are accepting the value, and in printf we do not use percentage. Okay, ampersand a. Okay, so let's print this. Our program is good enough to run. Let's see. So here it is asking us to give the value of a as input. So let's give it as capital D. Okay, see, it is showing the output that the output of character is D because we entered D. If we run it again and give the value to capital W, see, the output of the character is capital W. So this is the way how we input a character and also print it in C. So let's move to our next question in the question book. Let's see. So the next question says that accept two numbers and divide them and print their quotient and remainder. So very simple. Let's see how we do this. So let's go to VS Code. So we are back in VS Code. Yeah. So we'll do the prerequisites, that is declaring two variable and accepting them. So int A comma B, and also for finding the remainder also rem, okay, the variable name for storing the remainder, and to find the quotient we have to declare the quotient variable to be as real number, right, because the quotient can come in decimals also. So we will write float QUO as the quotient variable. So how to find quotient? We use QUO equal to A by B, right? This is the slash operator which will divide it. We already know these things are basic, right? So, and in the remainder, so rem equal to A mod B. Okay, this percentage sign is called modulus, which allows us to find the remainder of a division. So to find the quotient we use A by B, that is A / B, and to find the remainder we are taking A modulus of B. So we are finished with calculating this, and now we will print this test. Okay, so we will write a single printf statement, print printf. Okay, so the QUOTINT quotient is %f, because quotient is a real number value, right? And what is the other thing? Remainder is %d, because remainder is also already of integer data type, right? So we will allocate the variable to %f, that is QUO, and then rem. So we are done with the output part. Now what we are left with? We are left with taking the input. So we will write scanf. The input will be %d for the first one. I'm %a. Okay, we will copy this line and again paste this, and again paste this over here and change it to B. Here we will accept the value of B. We will write a printf statement over here, printf B question mark, where the compiler is asking us to print the value of, or to accept the value of B, and here we will write a question mark. So what will happen? The compiler will ask for the value of A first. We will give the value of A, press enter, then give the value of B, and then it will calculate and show the quotient and the remainder. So let's see how it's working. It's time to run our code. So let's see. So see here, error is coming. Let's see where the error is shown. Yeah. So in this printf statement we have missed out a semicolon. So we will give that, and our program is perfect now, I guess. Yeah, so it is asking us for the value of A. Let's give it anything, suppose 8, and for the value of B let's give it to 4. Okay, see, quotient is 2.00, remainder is 0, because when you divide 8 by 4 the remainder comes 0 and the quotient is 2, right? Let's take any other variable name, any other value. For the value of A, let's give it to 78. Okay, and we will divide it by 3. Let's see. So this time quotient is 26. Okay, and remainder is again 0. So here the question says, I know the question is not visible fully. Let's reduce my screen size. Yeah. So the question says that accept two integers, swap their value with and without third variable. So let's see how we do this last question, which is accepting two integers and swap their values with or without third variable. So what is the meaning of swapping? Swapping means if I have a variable A, okay, let's do some rough work over here so that it can be easy for you to understand. Yeah. Suppose just a minute. Yeah. So suppose I have a variable A. I input its value to be 15. Okay. And suppose I have a variable b and I input it and the user give its value to be 20. Okay, now after swapping, what will happen? The values of a and b will be interchanged. Okay, so a will become 20 and b will become 15. Okay, now there are two ways to do this. You can do it with third variable. Okay, that is to take a variable c which will hold a's value for the time being, and then a variable b which will store a's value, and then the b will again be transferred with the value of c that is actually holding the value of a. And we can also do it without using the third variable. So let's see how do we do this. First we will see in the simplest way, that is to take a third variable. So let's go to our VS Code again and see how it's working. So we are back in VS Code and let's see how we swap two numbers. Okay, let's erase everything. Okay, so I'm done with the prerequisite. So declare two variables, int a, int b. You have to print f. Togetherly I'm writing give value of a and b. Okay, so question mark again, semicolon, we will write scanf %d comma ampersand a semicolon. We will copy this line again. Okay, we are done with copying and we will paste it over here and we will do it to b, right? So we are done with the tagging input part. Now we will swap it with using third variable, that is c. Let's take c as an integer, length c. Okay, so what will c store? C will first stores a's value. Okay, c is storing a's value. Then what will happen? A will get b's value, right? Okay, b's value is given to a, and now what will b hold? B will hold a's value. So where is a's value stored now? A's value was previously stored in this c. So what will I write? B equal to c. Now what will I print? Printf a equal to %d \n, that is in the next line we will write, and b equal to %d. So we are done with the printf statement and we will just allocate the variables now. So it will be a comma b. So we are done. Let's run this code and see if it's working or not. Yeah, so it is asking us to give the value of a and b. So let's give the value of a to be 12 and value of b to be 23. We are separating the both by spaces. Okay, we will press now enter. See, so after swapping, a's value become 23 and b's value become 12, right? Let's do it again with any other value. Give value of a, let it be 99, and also it is asking us for the value of b. So after giving a space, we will write 56. So what will happen? After swapping, a will become 56 and b will become 99. So let's press enter. So a is becoming 56 and b is becoming 99. So this is how we swap the value of two numbers with using third variable. Now we will do a thing where we will restrict the use of third variable, that is c. We will not use c, and let's see how it's done. So this code will remain the same. We will just alter the swapping part. Okay, so let's see. We will erase this part. Okay, we will write a simple thing. We will write a equal to a plus b, right? Then we will write b equal to a minus b, and at the end we will write a equal to a minus b. Okay, so this is a method or implementation where we restrict the use of third variable. Okay, we are not using any other variable c over here, right? So what we are doing a equal to a plus b, b equal to a minus b, and a equal to a minus b. If you don't understand why I am doing this, just take your copy and do the calculation. You will find that the value of a and b gets swapped at the end. So let's run this code and check. So it is asking us for the value of a and b. Let's give it to 56, b as 77. So let's see after swapping what is happening. So after swapping, the a's value becomes 77 and b's value becomes 56. If you want to do it again, let's do. Okay, let's give a's value as 23 space b's value as 45. Okay, let's press enter. So a's value is 45, becoming 45 after swapping, and b's value becomes 23. So this way So this is the way how we swap two numbers or swap the value of two numbers without using third variable. So that's all for today. This was all about input. We have discussed how to take input using scanf, right? We have discussed how to take input of a character, input of a real number, input of a integer too. We have performed few calculations with the integer, few programs, right? Slowly we are entering into the arithmetic part of the programming part. So that's all for today. In the next video we will discuss about operators. Okay, so till then, keep learning and keep exploring.